Cutting yourself is one thing, but worrying about a literal bomb dropping down on you at any moment? Usually celebrity chefs are in complete control of their kitchens, but every so often they have reason to fear for their lives. When you're filming a live cooking segment with one of the world's leading chefs, it's natural that you'd want to look like you know what you're doing. For Mark Consuelos, this scenario wasn't especially different from most mornings on Live with Kelly and Mark, until it was. On a March 2024 episode, Consuelos and his wife/co-host Kelly Ripa put on their aprons to make a trio of classic French sauces with chef Eric Ripert. As Ripa chopped shallots for the chicken jus, she expressed worry that her knife skills weren't up to par. Ripert gave the couple a brief demonstration of letting one's fingers guide the blade as you chop, so Consuelos then tried to be a supportive husband and replicate Ripert's demonstration by giving shallot chopping a try.
Don't cut yourself, please.
Just seconds after that warning, though, Consuelos went ahead and indeed cut his finger. Viewers didn't actually get to see him bleeding, though he did announce that his fingernail may have ended up in the shallots. Fortunately for Consuelos, his injury ultimately wasn't very serious. It's a tale as old as time. Gordon Ramsay arrives at a restaurant, everyone puts on a brave face, but really their knees are knocking. For Brian Rutherford, executive chef at the Keating Hotel, this situation unfolded in a startlingly unpredictable manner. During a Season 1 episode of Hotel Hell, hotel owner Eddie Kane insisted that the kitchen staff serve a 150-item menu every night. Ramsay asked Rutherford why he doesn't cook on the line or inspire people with his food. Rutherford began to explain that he was exhausted, and then he collapsed in Ramsay's arms. Ramsay steadied the chef and turned to ask for a chair as Rutherford slumped backwards and fainted, his head landing under the kitchen sink. Sweaty and glassy-eyed, Rutherford was loaded into an ambulance, leaving everyone shaken. Everyone except the owner, that is. When Ramsay approached Kane about the incident, the latter implied that Ramsay was the one stressing everyone out.
Do not dare go anywhere near that I put him in that ambulance.
By the time that the episode aired, Chef Rutherford was no longer working at the hotel. Food Network's 2013 Thanksgiving Live special took Giada De Laurentiis out of her comfort zone in more ways than one. While preparing her turkey porchetta, she cut through her index finger, and it was quite the unnerving sight as she tried to grin and bear her way through it. Thanksgiving Live was chaotic right from the start that year, mostly due to Alton Brown acting like a hyperactive child. He incessantly teased De Laurentiis, who was concerned about him messing up her hair or staining her silk blouse. At one point, Ina Garten and Bobby Flay were on camera while De Laurentiis was in the background, apparently dressing her wound with the cameraman. When Garten asked her about the porchetta, De Laurentiis announced that she cut her finger open, and she faced the camera with a mix of awkwardness and pain. Brown continued to make jabs toward De Laurentiis and take questions from viewers, while Garten took a more maternal approach, and Flay played the role of a checked-out dad. Eventually, the feed cut to a commercial so that De Laurentiis could bandage up. She later revealed that the cut required stitches. Slips and falls often happen in the blink of an eye, which is exactly what happened to Chef Vivek Singh during a live cooking segment on the BBC One program Saturday Kitchen in May 2013. The popular morning show has served as the stage for more than a few blunders over the years, and Singh's fall was among the scariest. Host James Martin was at work, wowing guest Laura Haddock with his time-dicing skills, while Singh and chef Glenn Purnell quietly busied themselves with prep work on the other side of the island. Singh was moving quickly when he walked behind Martin and Haddock, and then on his way back to his station, he slipped on a wet spot and crashed to the floor, the side of his head grazing Martin's lower back in the process. Haddock screamed in shock as plates on the island clattered from the impact.
Sorry, I screamed really loud.
Singh got back on his feet in a flash with a little help from Martin and Purnell. He was incredibly nonchalant, brushing the fall off with a sardonic smirk and going right back to trimming some asparagus spears. The incident induced some awkward laughter, but considering the sharp knife that Martin was holding when Singh fell into him, it could have been a lot worse.
That was a bit close, that.
Years of making kitchen nightmares have introduced Gordon Ramsay to more eccentric characters than most people meet in a lifetime. Peter Pasta Pellegrino of Peter's Restaurant was one of the most colorful. Every episode of the show follows the same format. Ramsay tries the food and hates it, talks with the staff to understand why the restaurant is on the skids, and then tries to work with them to fix it. The Peter's Restaurant episode began in familiar territory until one seriously scary moment. As the staff prepared for a new and improved dinner service, an unexpected visitor popped his head in. He was described as a debt collector, and when Ramsay asked him to leave, he wouldn't relent. This sent Pellegrino into a rage as he stripped off his blazer and charged outside.
Come on, you fake tough guy! Come on!
Ramsay managed to coax the meat tenderizer out of Pellegrino's hand and get him refocused on the restaurant, but the fight was beyond intense. After the episode aired, journalists did some digging and alleged that Pellegrino was a former bookmaker for the Bonanno crime family and had mob ties since birth. With his travel show No Reservations, Anthony Bourdain shone a light on the food culture of various global regions that didn't often appear on camera. The results were eye-opening to viewers, and few episodes left more of an impact than Season 2's Beirut special. Bourdain was unafraid to venture into countries beset by conflict, as he hoped to shift the focus to the everyday civilians living and eating there. Beirut is the capital and largest city of Lebanon, and it had been a hotbed of military conflict for some time. Nevertheless, Bourdain was intent on highlighting the cultural richness behind the unrest. His tour started out exactly as it was meant to, but then the bombs began to drop. 9 days went by as Bourdain and the No Reservations team holed up in their hotel, during which the roof of the airport they landed at was hit in an airstrike. Bourdain would eventually be rescued aboard a marine ship responsible for evacuating civilians from the area. He never intended for the troubling footage to be made into an episode, let alone the special that it was eventually edited into.
Well, look at the footage.
As a regular on ITV's This Morning, Donal Skehan figured it would be just another day at the studio in March 2022 when he was scheduled to film a cooking segment. The popular Irish chef had just finished whipping up some delectable raspberry cheesecake bars when he was told that the entire building was being evacuated. A report of a suspicious item found in the area caused the entire Shepherd's Bush suburb of London to go on high alert. Nearby roads and underground transportation were temporarily halted, while This Morning and other live shows were forced to abruptly cut to commercial. Pre-recorded programming was then piped onto the airwaves, much to viewers' dissatisfaction. Skehan was shaken, although he was able to go on social media to address what was happening. He explained that the threat was eventually cleared and expressed gratitude to ITV Studios for keeping everyone safe. The incident didn't keep the affable Skehan off This Morning for long, as he showed up to prepare a garlic and rosemary chicken dish just weeks after the scare. Few celebrity chefs are as comfortable on camera as Gordon Ramsay. However, a 2010 appearance on The Ellen DeGeneres Show proved that on-air mishaps can befall even the most professional chefs. As Ramsay and DeGeneres began the prep work for a vegan stir-fry, he warned her to be careful slicing the carrot as he started on the red bell pepper. He offered a soft demonstration of how to tuck the fingers in as you slice, while she insisted that having your fingers so close to the blade seems pretty dangerous. Sure enough, Ramsay then sliced right into his middle fingertip. Rather than launch into the histrionics that he's known for, he explained that he cut himself because he wasn't concentrating. Meanwhile, blood gushed from his finger, which he joked would blend in with the pepper. Ramsay attempted to continue, but he could only pretend for about 10 seconds that this wasn't a problem. He asked for a Band-Aid as he told the audience that he hadn't cut himself in 10 years. DeGeneres was understandably horrified as she examined the cut and determined that a Band-Aid wouldn't be enough. Then she rifled through the vegetables in search of Ramsay's fingernail. He attempted to play it cool, but he was clearly thrown off, as were most of the viewers.